The fifth generation has been called the worst in the history of K-pop. Fans are actively leaving the fandom and say they are disappointed in the fifth generation and the K-pop industry in general. But is it really all that bad? Or are people just criticizing it too harshly? Or perhaps the fifth generation really was a failure? Let's get to the bottom of it. The first question is, when did this fifth generation begin? There are two perspectives among K-pop fans. The first suggests that the fifth generation started in 2023. The second asserts that the fifth generation was started specifically by Zero Base One. There were many debates on this topic, but ultimately everyone agreed that all groups that debuted in 2023 and later are considered part of the fifth generation. This leads to the first complaint from K-pop fans. The fifth generation didn't bring anything new to the industry. There used to be significant differences between the first, second, third, and fourth generations. Each generation brought something new, whether it was concept, sound, or visuals. However, with the fifth generation, we haven't seen anything particularly breakthrough or unusual. I even saw an interesting discussion online suggesting that the fifth generation was actually started by New Jeans. When they debuted, they popularized the Y2K style of K-pop, which became a major trend afterward. Still, New Jeans is considered a fourth generation group, and K-pop fans generally agree that we haven't seen anything truly distinctive in the fifth generation. From this stems the second complaint. All the groups in the fifth generation are similar to each other, making them too easy to confuse. People talk about how it used to be quite difficult to mix up a BTS and EXO song, or for example, a Blackpink and Twice track. But now, according to K-pop fans, all fifth generation groups resemble each other, don't bring anything interesting, and simply follow existing trends. I can't agree with this statement. While there are groups that are similar to each other, it's quite difficult to imagine that a Baby Monster song could be performed by ILLIT. These groups have unique concepts that distinguish them from their peers. Regarding companies following trends, I must mention that K-pop fans have noticed the entire K-pop industry seems to have become increasingly commercialized. K-pop has always been a business, but in the fifth generation, this aspect has become more apparent. Songs are now created not just as tracks, but as products that can be sold profitably for 15-second clips on social media. Additionally, fans dislike how most new groups try to monetize their fan base, such as embarking on world tours when they only have 5 songs or releasing 20 versions of the same album. In K-pop today, we have many versions of albums and also of the groups themselves. Companies used to debut a new group every 5 to 7 years, but now almost every company tries to introduce a new group nearly every year or two. Fans point out that Minette was previously known for this strategy, releasing 1 or 2 reality shows annually that form new groups. Now, almost all K-pop companies are pursuing this approach. At first glance, this seems beneficial: more groups, more artists, and consequently more people finding something to enjoy. However, K-pop fans argue that the industry has become oversaturated. Before you can fully appreciate one new song, 5 newer ones are already released on the same day. There's another interesting phenomenon. In the past, when the second generation started, first generation groups typically ended their activities. There were exceptions that continued through multiple generations, but they were few. Now, with the fifth generation actively promoting, people haven't even had time to fully explore the songs of the third and fourth generations. As a result, there are more and more groups forcing companies to work harder to attract interest to their acts. With the fifth generation, I think they've gone overboard. K-pop fans have noticed that idols and groups of the fifth generation are much more frequently involved in various controversies. For example, one idol was given a skirt that was too short, which became a topic of discussion, or ILLIT was given strange protective suits that generated extensive commentary on social media. Many developments in K-pop nowadays seem designed purely for publicity, and often these publicity stunts are quite absurd. This isn't new. The fifth generation didn't invent this strategy, but now there are far more of these questionable controversies. They're barely even deserving of the term scandals. One of the most discussed topics regarding the fifth generation is the age of the members. Early debuts have always existed in the industry. BoA, for instance, debuted with SM when she was only 13 years old. However, it was more common for people in their early 20s to debut. Now, at 22, many artists might be looking at another debut as their 7-year contracts expire. This creates a problem. People who are about 20 to 25 years old or older simply become uninterested in following artists who may be 10 or even 15 years younger than them. This excludes a significant portion of the potential audience, yet this situation isn't entirely negative. Conversely, people who are 14 to 15 years old might be more interested in artists who are their peers. When discussing K-pop artists who debuted as minors, K-pop fans are deeply concerned about their physical and mental health. After all, the K-pop industry is an extremely demanding and competitive business. If someone debuts at the age of 14, it means they are already fully functioning as an idol. This also implies that they spent the previous years as a trainee, which, as we know, is a grueling process. As a result, they miss out on a normal, carefree school life, which is unfortunate because their entire youth becomes dedicated to work. That said, this topic is not entirely black and white. Some argue, yes, they lose their carefree school days, but on the other hand, by the age of 15, they are already brand ambassadors for luxury brands like Chanel. Isn't that impressive? However, there is another issue with minors debuting. If an idol debuts at the age of 13 or 11, it is physically impossible for them to have undergone the traditional trainee period of 5 or more years. As a result, current trainees often have significantly shorter training periods, sometimes as little as 1 or 2 years. This is where K-pop fans often express frustration with fifth-generation idols. While these idols are undoubtedly talented, many believe they haven't had enough time to refine their vocal and dance skills before debuting. Fans argue that K-pop companies are now rushing to debut idols who lack the extensive training their predecessors received. Additionally, many longtime K-pop fans claim that in the past, idols had to be well-rounded performers capable of rapping, singing, dancing, and even composing songs for their groups. However, they believe that today, simply having an attractive appearance is often enough to secure a debut. This belief is reinforced by reality survival shows where some contestants, despite being more skilled, lose out to those who better fit Korean beauty standards. It's worth noting that appearance has always played a significant role in K-pop and more broadly in Korean and Asian societies. Meeting Korean beauty standards is undeniably important in the industry. Personally, I think many of the criticisms of the fifth generation from K-pop fans are exaggerated. I'm not claiming the industry is perfect, it has its problems, and there are aspects I dislike as well. I don't agree with the claim that all fifth generation idols lack talent or can't sing and dance. Many of these criticisms seem exaggerated. It's also important to recognize that many of the strongest critics of the fifth generation are longtime K-pop fans who are simply nostalgic for the past. The industry has evolved, and what was considered K-pop before has transformed into something different today. I also disagree with the notion that the opinions of older K-pop fans matter more than those of newer fans. Everyone has their own preferences. Some enjoy first and second generation songs, while others appreciate the current fifth generation releases, and that's completely fine. Another interesting reason why the fifth generation has been so polarizing among K-pop fans is its global impact. It was with this generation that K-pop truly broke into the international mainstream. New group debuts are now watched worldwide, leading to greater financial opportunities for entertainment companies. To capitalize on this, companies often create controversy, whether through scandalous marketing tactics or provocative styling, to attract attention to their idols. Ultimately, the fifth generation has been so divisive because the K-pop industry has grown tremendously. In my opinion, the fifth generation is still fascinating, and it's far too early to declare a definitive leader in this era. It has only just begun. What do you think about the fifth generation of K-pop? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more K-pop content.